We know consumer surplus is the difference between money the consumer is willing to pay and the money the consumer actually does pay. Let us see a numerical example. Consumer is willing to pay 75 rupees for a good, but he pays only the actual price of the good. It is 50 rupees. Then, in this case, consumer surplus is 25 rupees. This is consumer surplus in simple terms. Already, Marshall gave his version of consumer surplus in terms of cardinal utility analysis. J.R. Hicks and R.G.D. Allen were not happy with that approach. They gave an alternative method in terms of indifference curve approach. In this tutorial, we shall try to understand this approach. You know all the combinations in an indifference curve give the same level of satisfaction. The indifference curve is obtained without making any reference to prices of the two goods and income of the consumer. The indifference map shows the scale of preference of the consumer. In other words, it reflects the taste and preference of the consumer. Unlike this, a budget line is drawn on the basis of the income and the prices of the two goods. Budget line also consists of a number of combinations, but the consumer can buy any combination on the price line or budget line. We know consumer always prefers to buy a combination on the budget line. This basic knowledge about indifference curve and budget line is essential to understand consumer surplus in terms of indifference curve analysis. Look at this graph. The consumer measures money, the composite good, along the y-axis. He measures good X along the x-axis. To begin with, the consumer is on indifference curve IC1. Unlike conventional indifference curves, it starts at point M on the y-axis. It means combination M is on the indifference curve 1 along with other combinations. Combination M contains M units of money and 0 units of good X. Combination F, G and H are also on indifference curve 1. They yield as much satisfaction as M. OK. Consumer prefers to buy combination F. It contains OB units of money and ON units of good X. We have to understand this from a different angle also. It means to buy N units of good X, he is willing to pay BM units of money. This is very important. Fine. After knowing the prices of the two goods, the consumer obtains his budget line. It is ML. We know the consumer wants to buy N units of good X by choosing combination F on indifference curve 1. But the consumer prefers to buy a combination on the budget line as against a combination which lies to the left of the budget line. Combination E on the budget line also contains N units of good X. Of the two, which combination the consumer will buy? Of course, combination E and not F. Why? Because of three reasons. 1. Though combination F also contains N units of good X, it is to the left of the budget line. So, consumer will prefer combination E over F. 2. More than that, he pays only MA units of money to buy ON units of good X. 3. IC2 is tangent to the budget line ML at point E. So, combination E is on the indifference curve IC2, which represents a higher level of satisfaction than IC1. Then what is consumer surplus? The consumer was willing to pay MB units of money to buy ON units of good X. Now, to buy the same ON units of good X, he pays MA units of money. The difference AB is consumer surplus. Before I close this session, here is a question. Try to answer. This question was asked in UGC NET in 2016. In the standard adjoining diagram, the measure of consumer surplus is. Choose the correct option. If your option is AB, you are correct. We shall meet in the next lesson.